Hi, I'm Darlene. This is me, a digital representation, scripted and edited version of Darlene. Many of you are probably wondering why I'm speaking through an avatar. Well, since my research, as you'll find out, dealt with these identity creation spaces. No, it was my research, not some character I created online. Well, if you want to get technical, Darlene, let's be technical. After all, I am just a representation, filmed days in the past and transformed into ones and zeros inside the computer and well, this is my presentation. So, as I was saying, since the research deals with identity creation in online spaces, I felt that presenting one of my characters to you would make the most sense to help explain my project. I will also be shifting my appearance and character, just as identities on the internet are fluid and ever-changing. My project is called Online Faces in Online Spaces and studies online identity in spaces such as OkCupid, Pinterest, and World of Warcraft. Each of these are online spaces where users can create profiles that allow them to select certain traits, experiences, likes, and visual aspects of themselves to share with the online community. My goal in this project was to examine the tools that fashion internet users' identities and explain how they work. I examined online gaming as a critical character creation period and how it may affect a real-life person. I dissected online identity to better understand how having a certain identity can help or hinder a person. I wanted to know the implications of having a presence in this online world of today. To ground my research with those who have studied identity before me, I consulted a few theorists in the area of my research. They helped me define key terms such as identity. Identity, for my purposes, is a collection of actions, memories, experiences, and interests that are influenced by environment and biological genes. With the fluidity and anonymity of the internet, people have the ability to change and alter their identities as often and as easily as they'd like. Just as easily as I can switch between tabs of Pinterest and World of Warcraft, I can change my identity. Irving Goffman compares identity and social interactions as a performance, that each person plays a role as they interact with others. Rita Carter discusses the propensity towards multiplicity in people and the great platform the internet provides for those multiple personalities to showcase themselves. John Suler, through the context of online dating, discusses the ability users have to enhance or reduce certain aspects of their identities. I looked at a few different sites and spaces to investigate identity creation protocols. One space I looked at was OkCupid, an online dating site where users create profiles in order to find a romantic partner. It's also available as a friend finder, but OkCupid is actually known as a dating site. In creating a profile, creating a text-based identity, you're given a questionnaire to answer, and in this way, the site constrains the users to a similar format, no matter how differently he identifies. So I'll talk about three of the questions that are asked when creating a profile. The first question, the 6 things I could never do without. So this answer will tell us if the person cares for family over material goods, or if they love a certain book or item so much that they couldn't imagine living without it. Questions such as this open the door for Cupiders, okay, just make that word up to call the users of OkCupid, to decide if they have anything in common. The second question, I spend a lot of time thinking about the profile creator has the ability to tweak his dating identity by filtering what is written in this area. Instead of listing work-related thoughts and obsessions and writing about his interest in the vastness of the universe, can alter the way this user is seen by other Cupiders, from becoming a workaholic to a reflective, contemplative person. The third question, I'm really good at... So I've seen users refer to a lewd interpretation of this question. It is a dating site after all, as well as those who have decided to actually talk about what they like to do. I found that those who were lewdly interpreting this were also a little creepy throughout their profile, and those who spoke about hobbies felt and read more genuinely. Now, I spent a good amount of time looking at these profiles, analyzing the content, and talking to fellow Cupiders. I talked to one user and we discussed his omission of laundry habits. To him, seeing that his goals were short-term relationships and not long-term goals, the fact of his laundry habits were irrelevant. As we talk further about this, I thought about research by Gibbs, Ellison, and Hino, who discussed the correlation between perceived dating success and self-disclosure. As this user's goal was short-term, his dating success is relatively high compared to the amount of information he discloses, as I further learned in our discussions. So overall, I learned here that what people share in their profiles is very closely related to what they want to get out of it. World of Warcraft is what you see here with me, a character in a virtual world called Azeroth, just like Earth is Earth in the real world. So this is a role-playing game where players pick a role to play and play that character. There are 10.2 million players, so I think it was a great place to delve into find my character creation issues. This is Solari, my World of Warcraft druid, my main character. As we all have mains and alts in WoW and in real life. My main is Darlene, and my alts, all of them go by the same name, have different traits, habits, and quirky little characteristics. So, as an established insider, I interviewed a few players about their habits within the game. Specifically, about their interaction with other players in out-of-character communication. I noticed a few things as I spent time in a few chat channels that were designated out of character. For one, players still acted like characters when interacting with other players in the channel. For example, AZ, a druid, hops around, tackles, and licks other players in the channel. In human form, she would never do this, but as a druid, as an animal, in the channel she feels she's open to this sort of interaction. Since her name, Azriel, appears in the channel announcement instead of her real name, she's more inclined to act like the character than her human self in these channels. I continued this line of thought and found that the Azriel tag encouraged animalistic behavior in any form of communication. So Azriel is mushing her real-life identity with that of her character, a Night Elf Druid, in these interactions in out-of-character channels. What's interesting is that she logs into game on the other characters, such as her human warrior, and still acts like her druid, her main character. I think about Rita Carter here, and her discussion of multiplicity and the ability for different aspects of our identity to shine in different areas. AZ's player has a strong, well-developed character, her druid, who she continues to use as her form in her interactions with other players in a casual environment. I asked, and her druid is what is most comfortable for her to play, just as I'm more comfortable behind my digitized bodies. I've learned a lot from this research and first-hand experience. Sure, I got to play video games all day and test out profile creation online, but I also dove neck-deep in theory. I saw how useful the internet is in providing a space for multiple, well-developed identities to come alive, thrive, and interact with the rest of the online community. Many of these places, however, come with benefits and disadvantages when considering the fluidity of identities. They provide platforms for which users can explore different aspects of themselves, yet the spaces create profiles that are similar in format to every other profile on the site, forcing the user to comply with the design rules and creating cookie-cutter styled identity pages. Online faces and online spaces let me look at what I have put out in the online community and understand what I am showing others. It has proved to me the importance of selection when creating a profile, that every word counts, whether included or not, that every image counts, that everything included adds a Lego piece to the sculpture of my identity.